Nigerian Senate says it has passed 96 bills and treated 72 petitions in the last 2 years, making it the highest ever in the history of the National Assembly. Senate President Bukola Saraki stated this during a special plenary session marking the 2 years anniversary of the 8th Senate over the weekend in Abuja. He said the Senate is committed to openness, accountability, adding that they have led from the front line on the war against corruption, having passed several corruption exposing resolutions and have saved government billions of naira. Saraki also explained that the National Assembly has opened its line-by-line items budget to the world, a first in the history of the National Assembly. Saraki, who thanked all his colleagues for their zeal and doggedness, assured that the Senate will continue to sustain the current feast in ensuring that Nigeria is taken out of recession.
The 8th Senate marched on with its focus on its main responsibility, which is to make laws for the peace and good governance of the Federation. This we have done together, erasing records and setting new ones. Today, the 8th Senate has passed 96 bills in just 2 years, eclipsing the highest ever in the history of the National Assembly, a record held by the 5th Senate after passing 65 bills within the same period of time. This is why we have paid more attention to laws that will give our people opportunity to prosper and create jobs. I sincerely congratulate every one of you for putting in the shift to ensure we pass these bills.
All other lawmakers who spoke during the anniversary section hailed the outstanding of the Senate leadership for bringing about bipartisan Senate devoid of ethnic, religion, and sectional sentiment.
Yes, we've come a long way in 2 years. We've been able to focus on so many national issues. When you mention about 96 bills, and the highest ever done by any Senate in the past, in 2 years, I think they recorded 65, and we recorded about 96. We will do more. We are very prepared to do more. But I think it's not just the laws that matter, not the resolutions. I believe strongly that implementation will be the best. I think it is time now for us to advise, now that the leaders are here, from the national leader of APC to the national leader of the PDP and other political parties and our past leaders, that if we can implement most of the guidelines and suggestions and the laws from this place, I believe Nigeria will get out of recession.
Senator George Sekibo from Rivers State, who also spoke during the special section, used the occasion to call on APC-led administration to desist from harassing political opponents perceived to be speaking against the government, adding that the PDP lawmakers in the Senate have been very supportive.
We are supporting the government. We are fighting corruption ourselves. And that is why today, I don't know how much you are paying me. My salary has been so slimmed down. I'm macheting. My tummy was bigger before. But we agree with you, even in starvation, we will stand by Nigeria. While we are doing that one, they should allow us to be focused. They should not harass us. We are not fighting any institution. Thank God there are former presiding officers here. On the floor of this Senate, you can get up and talk what you think is wrong, what you think is right. You don't hold a meeting with anybody to come and say you're good. You come out and say the way you see it.
Senator Dino Melai, representing Kogi West, urged that the rule of law must prevail and not allow selective application of law.
President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, transparently honest Muhammadu Buhari, recognized the powers of the Senate to confirm. Just 2 weeks ago, Mr. President, I brought to the attention of the Senate that the DG of Lottery Commission resumed office without confirmation of the Senate. I heard in the fashion of the best runner in the world, he ran out of his office. And the executive apologized to us, and he is no longer in office. We also said the confirmation of one ambassadorial nominee was rejected. The president sent another replacement, and we have cleared him. Why is Magu still in office? Mr. President, the truth is the truth. We should not have selective application of the rule of law. One law for everybody. The Senate must not sleep, the Senate must not keep quiet. I may be arrested, immediately after this program, the prison is built for people and not for animals.
The anniversary session was attended by national leadership of both APC and PDP, serving ministers and former presiding officers of National Assembly and members of diplomatic community. From National Assembly Complex, Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting. The House of Representatives says it has so far introduced 1,064 bills in the last 2 years. Speaker Yakubu Dogara said this while delivering opening remarks in the activities marking the second year of the 8th House of Representatives in Abuja. Dogara said among these bills introduced, 50 are executive bills.
A total of 126 bills have been passed by the House, and the others are at various stages in the legislative mill. 27 bills have received presidential assent, and a lot more are in the pipeline. Each of the achievements highlighted above is unsurpassed by any previous assembly. The sheer volume of these bills attests to the vibrancy of the House in its attempt to legislate on key areas of our national life at a very trying time in our nation's history. On the issue of budget, we kept our promise to Nigerians at the beginning of the legislative session to ensure transparent deliberation and passage of the 2017 appropriation bill, which will be signed into law early next week. We have also carried out significant budget reforms. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, a public hearing was conducted in the National Assembly to get the input of Nigerians in the budgetary process.
Lawmakers who spoke during the anniversary section hailed the outstanding leadership of the lower chamber for bringing about bipartisan House divorce of ethnic and sectional sentiment.
As I have always emphasized that democracy thrives only where there is viral opposition. Without viral opposition, what you will end up having is nothing but autocracy. It is therefore important that now that we have been able to put a foundation on ground, it becomes also important that we call on the executives, work hand in hand with the executive to strengthen one major lacking in our democratic practice and institutions, which borders on our democratic institutions. The hour and time has come as a nation for us to strengthen our institutions. These institutions must all be totally independent.
And as we celebrate, I want us to use this opportunity to take time out, individually and collectively, to pray for our president. These are trying times, and it needs our prayers, just like the country needs our prayers. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I congratulate us on this midterm, and I believe that we will come back in 2019 and know that we have done so much and covered so much 2 years from now. Thank you, and God bless.
Dignitary also present at the event include Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Ajayi Agbola, former Speaker Gali Nahaba, former Deputy Speaker Usman Nafada. From National Assembly Complex, Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting. As 8th Senate marked the 2 years anniversary, cross-section of senators have been speaking on the gains and prospects of the legislature. Senator David Umar from Niger State said the legislature has added color to the country democracy.
We have everything to be grateful to God for. I think we've come a long way. We have learned our lesson, and I think we'll continue to learn our lessons. We'll continue to improve from where we started, and I think today we're a little bit, we've moved a step further from where we are. At least we've gotten to a stage whereby we have realized that look, there's something wrong with us. There is the need for us to nurture this our democracy, and I think everybody is adjusting himself to the fact that this is a political system or a way of governance that is quite useful.
In his reaction, Senator Kabiru Marafa from Zamfara State said the National Assembly remains the symbol of democracy.
The legislature is one arm of government that each member requires the other member. So even if you see legislature, boiling, just give it a little time, it will settle down and the people would have to work together. Because that is one of the beauties of this place. It is the only place where it is the symbol of democracy. It is what defines the true essence of democracy. That is where numbers count. So every member you see here came alone and came on his own merit, as either a senator or a member of House of Representatives, and we are all equal. But in anything, in every human endeavor, when you have 2 or 3 people, you have to have a leader. So we elect leaders within ourselves that would administer us, administer a lot of things, and so on and so forth.
However, legislature remain the most criticized arms of government in Nigeria. From Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
Lovely place, right?
Yes.
What's wrong? You don't look happy.
Take a look around. Why can't my hotel be like this?
I knew something was wrong, but I've got solution.
Solution? What?
Nanet.
Nanet?
Nanet offers you design solutions, building plans and construction, furnishing and equipping, financing, management, audit services, and many more services for a better hospitality business. Nanet, service with a smile.
As the National Assembly marks its 2 years since inauguration on 9th June 2015, a cross-section of Nigerians have come out to speak their mind on the achievements of the legislators so far. Ben TV went out to sample the opinions of people on how they feel on the achievements of the legislators.
Yeah, the National Assembly started with some rules around leadership and some sort at the onset. But along the way, I think they gain stability and they are putting in their best. For the first time after a very long period, we can say this National Assembly has let us see the budget they implement. So I think it's one great difference they've made with the previous National Assemblies.
Before now, we've had a National Assembly made up of people with selfish interests who are there to represent themselves alone, except before the third term agenda when Namani was there. That was the only time we saw a National Assembly that was active. But for me, I lost interest in National Assembly from the moment they head on to the likes of Saraki, who are still facing trial, as most prominent Nigerians have even referred to the hallowed chambers as a den of rogues, and every now and then, I think they have penchant for one scandal or the other.
Because 2 years, there's nothing to show for. So I'll give them 40/100.
Some who spoke off camera said there is need for the legislators and the executive to work together for the benefit of all. In Abuja, LF Chukwemeka.
As bills seeking the establishment of Southeast Development Commission skate through second reading on the floor of the Senate, senators have continued to drum support for the proposed commission. Senator Theodore Orji from Abia State said the Southeast Development Commission, when passed into law, will help to develop the region.
It's a bill that is harmless. It's harmless. The bill is not asking for any money from the federal government. As per se, federal government allocate this money to the Southeast Development Commission. No, not at all. The bill is just on its own. Give us that legal platform. Then we come together and get money from the allocation. From the allocation that comes to every state every month. You can contribute some money, 15% of it. If Abia brings, Imo will bring, Anambra will bring, Enugu will bring, and Ebonyi State will bring. It will be some money. And you can use it to embark on a particular project that will benefit the whole of the region. And it's a simple and straightforward bill. It's not offensive. We are not competing with any other zone. Any zone that wants, that's interested, can raise its own bill.
Senator Orji also said the proposed Southeast Development Commission will not draw financial resources from the federal government.
This is what we want. What we know that if we get, it will help us in the development of the Southeast. You know the antecedents of Southeast. You know the theater of war. 3 years there was war in the whole of the Southeast. And you know the effects of war. The whole infrastructure was devastated. Schools, hospitals, bridges, roads, name them. They were all destroyed. And since after the war, the Southeast had been trying on its own to build up. And all these efforts, we have not had a platform that will galvanize all the stakeholders, the governors, the senators, the political office holders, and our economic people, those who have resources, to come together to develop the Southeast.
Senator Isa Misao from Bauchi stated that the Southeast Development Commission will lay to rest all form of agitation in the region.
I feel it is a very, very important bill at this time. If you look at what is happening, the agitation that is happening in the Southeast, especially from somebody that we don't know, somebody that is holding double passport, somebody that his family, they are not here. I think it is the right move from our politicians to bring this Southeast Development Commission bill, so that at least there are people who see that they are working and they are trying to protect the interests of the region. And I'm always happy to see one Nigeria, and I love to see this everybody remain as Nigerians. That's why we supported the bill. And any bill that will come that will enhance the livelihood of a region, or that will bring development, we are not going to, as this extent, I'm sure, we are not going to block that kind of bill, because we are here for the people, and we must try as much as possible to protect the interests of the people. There is no way somebody will bring a bill that he wants some development in his area, then we will say we are not going to allow that bill to scale through, or we are going to block it.
It's also admitted that the reason for this kind of the bill was the failure on the part of the state government by hijacking the fund meant for local government to develop the states.
It's talking about development, and the reason why these bills they are coming is failure of government. The state government have failed because they have allocated themselves these resources that is meant for local government. So local government is not functioning. That is the reason why, if to say now the local government is functioning, state government is functioning, nobody will even think of any bill of commission. But it's failure of governance in that area. If you go to town and look at the kind of erosion that is taking place and no resources to take care of those problems. So I think it's a welcome development, and as I told you that this bill, we did it so that we'll give them sense of belonging, so that we'll tell Nigerians that this Nigeria is for everybody. It does not belong. It doesn't belong to only one section of the country.
Meanwhile, the bill for Southeast Development Commission generated controversy when it was introduced on the floor of the House of Representatives last week. From National Assembly Complex, Abuja, Nigeria, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
As the crisis in the People's Democratic Party (PDP) seems to have no headway, a chieftain in the party have asked the two factional chairmen to surrender in order to give peace a chance and return the party to the people. China Wanyanwu, founding member of the party, in an exclusive interview with Ben TV, accused PDP governors of destroying the party.
But basically, it has become an ego problem between members and factions. We have always complained about the governors' forum wielding too much power. Governors decide who the councillors are, who the commissioners are, who the ministers are. Even governors decide who the presidents are, in a way. So these governors have occupied the political space, and they are suffocating the political space, and people have said no. You can see this struggle between McCarthy and Sheriff. McCarthy, a former governor, Sheriff, a former governor. Who are the people behind it? Fayose, a governor. Wigwe, a governor. What is his name? The governor of Bayelsa came up with his own proposal, also a governor. Jonathan, a former governor. So if you look at this architecture of this crisis, it is still hovering around governors. Until PDP is restored back to the people, this crisis will continue. The best thing is for us, I have said so, Sheriff, step down, McCarthy, step down. The factions nominate 10 people, they come together and have a convention. Only a convention can give us a leader, not a Supreme Court, not a court of appeal. Any conflict or crisis that leads to the death of PDP implies the emergence of a one-party system in Nigeria. And a one-party system is not democracy at all. That is the greatest danger of what is happening in PDP.
When asked on his rate on the performance of Buhari's administration after 2 years, he said,
"These people promised too much. The expectations were so high. And that is why, because they have not performed optimally, there is no way you can judge them fairly. The truth of the matter is that so many of the promises have not been actualized. And even those of us who are in politics know that it was very difficult. I mean, they said $1 to 1 naira. Where are we today? Price of rice, where was it? Employment, where was it? 5,000 naira to unemployed people, what are we doing? All kinds of things that were promised during the elections. But in the area of security, I must concede that there is some progress. There is some visible achievements. In the Niger Delta, temporarily they've done very well, but we hope that all the promises will be matched by action. Anti-corruption, they have ended up creating a lot of awareness and consciousness. The former impunity with which people get into corruption is no longer there. For me, they've driven corruption under the table. and they have changed the actors. As far as I am concerned, it is motion without actual movement in the anti-corruption war. More needs to be done. It is not being systematically executed, it is being politically executed. It is not holistic, and that is why the implementation is selective and the success is also selective.
LM Chukwemeka report for Ben TV.